This is BBC Radio Kent.
Do you know someone addicted to computer games? Maybe you are addicted. Well, the reason we're talking about this morning is that a Gillingham man is warning about the dangers of gaming addiction.
I withdrew from the world. I withdrew from wanting to go out and meet friends due to bullying, for one. And I started to get introduced to gaming. And the things where I was gaining actually meant that I was gaining purpose from the game. And, I mean, by the time I was probably, 25, I was playing 14 hours a day. It wasn't until I hit about 24, 23 that I was on benefits. I didn't have any skills or qualifications.
Well, that's the voice of Radio Kent, BBC Radio Kent listener and Gillingham resident David Breaker, talking very openly and honestly about his addiction to gaming. Well, we're joined now by Andy Robertson, who's a gaming expert and currently writing a book, Taming Gaming. I see what you've done there, Andy. Good morning.
Morning.
What are the telltale signs of gaming addiction?
Yeah, we'll use the term gaming addiction quite freely, I think, and sometimes parents will say, "Oh, my child's addicted to gaming," and they don't really mean addicted as in other addictions. So I think we need to be a little bit careful about how we use that language. But the World Health Organization is adding a gaming disorder to their disease classification, and the criteria there, they're really high. So you have to be playing video games so much to the detriment of other parts of your life. So you wouldn't be going to school, you wouldn't be going to work. Your personal relationships, maybe even your personal hygiene would be suffering. And then even then, they still say that needs to be persisting. So you need to have realised that's happening and still be pursuing games for about 12 months. And only then do you fall into that criteria of this gaming addiction.
One of the things that we were discussing earlier, or came up on the show earlier, is the fact that there's a danger here of throwing the baby out of the bathwater. If we get too tough on this, actually children in particular, can benefit a fair bit from gaming. I mean, things like being competitive, reactions. I mean, there are benefits, or is that wrong, Andy?
Yeah, I think it's like any media. There's a wide range of benefits. So we tend to think of video games as the ones which are popular and advertised on bus stops, but actually the breadth of experiences that you can have in a video game are just as wide as in novels or as in TV series. And so on a number of levels they're really healthy, and I think they can be a really healthy part of family life. And that's part of the reason that I'm writing the book, is to try and help parents steer children towards that more healthy experience. And all it takes really is to have parents kind of present in the kind of diet, like other areas, to help their child not just get into bad habits, and actually to model to them how to play them, rather than, as is quite common, to sort of withdraw from gaming and let the kids get on with it, that we wouldn't do in other areas of life.
I mean, I've got two daughters. What should I be telling them? Should I be limiting them, or should I be sitting in the room as they're playing? Please don't say that one, if that's the case.
Well, I mean, if they're avidly into video games, and this is the thing I say in the book, and I know it's a difficult thing to say to parents, is that to properly parent someone who loves games, you need to have experienced games yourself. And so I think you need to spend a bit of time playing games on your own to understand what's happening, because it's not necessarily obvious. Okay. And then finding ways to play games together, I think, is a really healthy part of parenting a child like that. And it's not always, that's not always easy. But with the right bit of guidance, I think it can become something which parents become enthusiastic about, and you kind of avoid this kind of fear, I guess, that games are just going to do something bad to your child. And then you get into this territory where we talk about addiction and you kind of medicalise it. So it becomes a medical problem rather than a parenting problem.
Andy, thank you for that contribution. Andy Robertson, there's a gaming expert and currently working on a book, Taming Gaming. That's interesting, Anna. That's I think my daughter's going to love Andy when I go home, push a chair up next to her and try and share the console with her.
But then if you don't, how do you know what's really going on? Yeah, how she feels about it. Yeah, you can let me know how that goes.
This is BBC Radio Kent.